Hey guys, this is Ian Masters for BestHookupSites, and in today's video, we're going to cover how any regular guy can become invincible at online dating by following the really simple advice in this free video. Now, I guarantee you that if you go out there and you put in practice what I'm about to show you, you're going to see immediate results. Your dating life is going to change. And those are going to be that almost all women that you message are going to be replying back to the first emails you send them. Girls are going to start reaching out to you without you ever having messaged them. And women are going to be asking you to get together for dates as soon as possible. And you're going to be able to do this without lying, without being sleazy, or pretending or faking or trying to be someone you're not. Okay? In fact, in this video, I'm going to give you my 3 ultra powerful tactics for meeting women on online dating sites. And I'm also going to share the single biggest factor that had astronomical results for me online. This one thing turned out to be the ultimate game changer for my sex life last year. So here's why I'm confident that this works. What I'm about to show you is a set of tactics that took me a couple of months to perfect. And I went from dating one girl every couple of weeks to about a dozen girls each month. Okay? For those of you that can't do basic math, that works out to be about one girl every other day. And in fact, before I started making this video, I went and I set up a profile on one of the dating sites that I use. And you can see that without sending any emails and simply from putting up the default profile that I'm going to show you later in this video, I got a very, very good response. And something incredible happens with the power of choice. Once you get it, what it ultimately means is that you will get to pick which women you keep around and which ones you decide to date. In tactic number 1, we're going to change the way that you view online dating. Because in my opinion, if you want to be successful online, you really need to understand what that experience is like for women so you know what you're up against. In tactic number 2, I'm going to talk about how you draft intro emails. That's the first email you send to women. You want to send only emails that get a killer response rate. And I call this my KISS strategy, which stands for keep it short and simple. When I use these opening emails, I get an 85% response rate each and every time. And in tactic number 3, I'm going to show you what your dating profile needs to look like so you don't come off like every other guy on an online dating site. I'm going to show you how to create what I like to call dating profile gravity, meaning that your profile is going to be so strong that it's irresistible to women. Okay? When I used this tactic, I went from getting 1 reply every couple of days to going in and getting about 10 replies daily. And you saw that from my previous inbox screen. Okay? Now, I'm also going to share with you one secret strategy, and this is the one critical factor that's going to make or break your level of success when meeting women online. So make sure you don't miss it, because without this super basic item, you won't be successful online no matter what other tactics you have in your back pocket. So at this point, you might be wondering, well, who the hell is this Ian guy to be giving me advice on online dating? So I'm going to take a minute and tell you. About a year ago, I had profiles set up on a few dating sites. I was on Plenty of Fish, I was on Match.com, I was on eHarmony. And back then I thought that all I really needed to do was to put up a quick profile and just watch women come out of the woodwork. I'm not a bad looking guy, so I figured just being online basically should have been enough. Well, it turns out that I was wrong. And after 4 weeks of online dating, I had 1 date to show for it. Okay? Think about that. That's 1 woman for 1 month of work off of 3 dating sites that I was able to meet. Okay? So if you do the math, this actually works out to be about 100 hours of work for that 1 date. That's kind of pathetic, don't you think? Clearly, whatever I was doing definitely wasn't working. And so at this point, I probably could have quit the whole online dating business. But instead, I decided to figure out what I was doing wrong. Now, it took me about 4 months of work on 10 different dating sites, but I did finally crack it. Today, I get responses to 85% of the emails that I send out, and I can get pretty much any girl to meet me for a date within a week's time. Okay, and that's not even counting the women that message me just because of my gravitational profile. So how did I do it? It's very simple. I learned to stand out from the pack. Okay, that goes for every aspect of my online dating profile, my messages, and the first dates that I have with women. And the women that I've dated have told me that my profile isn't like anyone else's. I'm original, I'm a challenge, I'm totally clear and decided about my intentions and what I want. And that's what you're going to learn to do in this video. All right, so let's start with tactic number one, understanding who you're up against. Now, funny enough, I discovered this tactic through my friend Marissa, and that's her on the left. Marissa's been a lifelong friend of mine, and what she showed me blew my mind. And I think that since that day, I never really looked at online dating the same way. So what did she show me that was so incredible? Well, she walked me through her Plenty of Fish profile. And it was like getting a sneak peek behind enemy lines right before a major battle was about to happen. Okay? Here's what floored me. She had been on Plenty of Fish for 5 days, and after only 5 days, she had 657 messages from guys. 657. And most of them were like this one. Hey, I saw you like cats. I love cats too. Maybe we can get together and I can pet your pussy. Smiley face, signed Derek. Now raise your hand if you think Derek is still lonely. Okay, you bet your ass he is. Here's another personal favorite of mine from Justin. Okay, I saw your profile picture. You're very beautiful. Check out my profile. If you like me, send me an email. Love to buy you dinner. I've made mistakes. Here's a list of my hobbies. I can't really figure women out, etc., etc., etc. Okay, who thinks that that's a lot of words to say I'm boring and pathetic as hell? Here's my advice to Justin. Shoot yourself right now. Spare women the pain from ever coming in contact with you. Does this guy seriously think he's going to attract anything with this type of email? So here's the point, okay? If a girl wants to date and ultimately sleep with boring guys, all she really has to do is go hang out in the self-help section at Barnes & Noble. Okay, there's plenty of weak men there, but let's be realistic, guys. How often does that really happen? It doesn't, and for good reason. Girls don't have flings with weak men, okay? If you want to get the girl, and I don't care if this is online or in real life, you're going to need to learn to stand out from the crowd, okay? You have to be the one that challenges her. You have to be the one that makes her laugh, the one that makes her work for your attention. And most importantly, you need to make her wonder, hey, what's this guy all about? All right, so now let's move on to tactic number 2, what to write in your first email so you get a guaranteed response from women. Before we get into this, I do need to tell you that this tactic won't work unless you also have a killer dating profile. When you send a woman a message, the first thing she does after reading it is check out your profile. Okay, so you're going to want to use tactic number 2 and tactic number 3 together, not as a standalone. Okay, so let's look at first emails. And actually, before we get into good examples of what to write to women, let's look at what not to write to women in a little more detail. This is an email from John, who also sent an initial email to Marissa, and it's very kind of standard cookie cutter. Hi, saw your profile, would love to meet up and buy you dinner, 33-year-old professional in New York, and so on and so forth. Okay, I want you to look at this email very carefully. You notice how long it is? Okay, do you remember how I said women get flooded with dozens of emails every day? Okay, you don't want to send something like this. Why? Because when you send this, here's what she hears in her head. This is what goes through her mind, okay? Does this guy have a life? Who has time to write this much to someone they've never even met? Let's take a look at a second one real quick. This is the email from our friend Justin, the one that was boring and pathetic, if you remember, okay? Believe it or not, this is what 99% of guys send as a first email to women, okay? When you send this kind of email, here's what she hears. This guy just sent this exact same thing to 100 other girls, all right? He's sad, he's lonely, he's broken. He can't even spell the words deserve and passenger properly. I don't want to be the girl to fix him. I want somebody fun, somebody charming. Next. Bye-bye. Now, I could go on and on with examples of really bad conversation starters, but instead I want to focus on what makes a really good first dating email, okay? A good first email is super simple to write if you know what you're aiming for, all right? There's only 3 rules that you need to follow. And the first one is that the only real goal of that email is to get her to click to your profile. Nothing more, nothing less, okay? The second point is that it needs to make her smile. If you don't make her smile, she won't click through. I know that for a fact, okay? And 3, it needs to be as short and on target as possible. So those are the 3 rules of a really good first email. Makes her click, makes her smile, and is short and on target. Now, I'm going to show you 3 examples of the intro emails that I love to use. The first one of these is very effective. It's gotten me great response, and it's really simple. It's one line. It says, hey, I just checked you out, and you seem normal enough. Now tell me what's really wrong with you. Okay? Another one that's given me incredible responses over time. I'm not sure about you. You look nice enough, but there's something that tells me you might not be as Miss Goody Two Shoes as your pic might suggest. I don't know if I should be talking to you or running away. Also very, very effective. And the third is there's something about you that caught my eye, but it's not what you think. Okay? Now, I want you to take a look at these and notice how all of these are a little cocky and a little confident. They're funny, they're short, okay? They build curiosity very, very quickly. They make the girl on the other end smile. And most important of all, it makes them click to my profile. They want to learn more about me. And that's the emotion you want to get to. Any first emails you create should target exactly this. So now the question becomes, what makes up a killer dating profile? How can you create a profile that's so powerful that women that land on it are not going to be able to resist to email you back after you've contacted them? Okay? A profile that's so strong that it almost has its own center of gravity. It just pulls people in. And this is what we're going to be covering in tactic number 3, creating a profile that pulls women in, or what I like to call profile gravity.